All right, folks and folkettes of the folkloric world, welcome to yet another episode of WRECKS. And this week, the WRECKS, the West End Entertainment Company in the King's Service, is on the road. We have Wind, our tabaxi costumer, Guy Automata, our construct musician, Josef Rantamalar the Seventh, our Harangon actor, veteran of stage and boroughs all across the continents, Madame Fortuna, lady of danger and fortune, and should be all right, because you should be all right. Our actors and crew this week. You are on the road. You have been told that the oldest sponsor of the Goat Theater was holding a special event. This special event is held every 8 years and comes about the exact same way. See, every 8 years, a number of WRECKS cast and crew are told to take the wagon and head out on the Athenian Forest Road until they meet a crossroad. Now, the strange thing is, if you look at a map, the Athenian Forest Road has no roads crossing it. But here you guys are. The five of you are pulling a wagon, and it is quite a wagon. It is said that this wagon was built by an artificer over 100 years ago, and it is a thing of beauty. It looks like an ordinary wagon, except on one side, you have a picture of a goat painted, and on the other side, a picture of revelry and drinking and singing. The only seat in this wagon, though, is a bench where the driver sits and steers the horse. There's no room inside the wagon, for the wagon is filled with everything you could ever need to put on a show. There are racks of costumes that pull out to an almost infinite length, racks of instruments that pull out to an almost equal length, and there are grand scrolls painted with backgrounds of splendorous locations. One side of the wagon opens up like a tavern bar, perfect for selling tickets or putting on puppet shows, private meetings, or even serving food, while the other opens up into a small stage, complete with a roof to keep the rain off the scenery, and enough scenery to transport all the actors to other times and places. The five of you are the five who were unlucky enough to be chosen for this very important task. And the importance of it cannot be stated enough. Without the support of this sponsor, the Goat Theater will close. You will all be out of jobs, and you'll be back to the bars in Greenland. Is that what you want? I didn't think so. Your silence says it all. So, as the five of you are on the road, who's driving?
Well, obviously I am. I'm the only one who has any experience with these sort of wagons.
Certainly not I.
Very true. Wind is the veteran crew member, been a costumer with WRECKS for over 6 years. And Wind, you also know a little bit of the history about what is to happen. So you are probably the only one who is truly prepared for this Midwinter's day job. Huh? See? If you didn't, you'll get it soon. All right, so you guys are heading down the forest road of the Athenian Forest. And you've been walking for the better part of a day. You're going on almost 12 hours now. And someone came in. So you're walking down the forest road. It is midwinter. It has just snowed, but the snow is melting. And all around you, you really don't see much of anything except bare trees, melting snow, and the muddy road. So it's a little rough. As a matter of fact, Wind, can you give me an animal handling roll to see how well you're guiding the horses through this muddy road here?
Yes. If I can figure out how.
It's all right. What are the rest of you doing? Since she's driving the car, we have a veteran actor, a rookie actor, a fortune teller, and a musician. What are the four of you doing?
I'm keeping my eye out. I'm making sure that I do know exactly why we have come here, correct? They have told us. Is that not so?
Absolutely. You are to meet with the sponsors, and you need to make them happy so that they can keep supporting the Goat Theater.
I do look around to see if there are anyone here. In the distance, perhaps just out of range. I rolled an 18. Do I see anything?
So while you do not see anything, you do hear a sound in the distance. As a giant rabbit, your hair stands on end all over and your ears begin to twitch. You've heard that sound before, and it's not a sound that you're very fond of. Pretty soon, the rest of you also hear the baying of wolves. It is at this time that you finally come to a crossroads in the middle of the Athenian forest. Some of you swear you've taken this road before, and yet this is the first time you've seen such a crossroad. It's a very strange crossroad. If you look left and right, it's a very long road. It just seems to go on and on and on. It's as if this intersecting road goes forever in both directions, which is odd because you're pretty sure this forest is maybe only a mile across.
Wind, where have you taken us? This isn't where we're supposed to be. Come now, are you driving this thing or are they driving you?
Listen, Bunny, I can let the wolves have you. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. We're at the crossroads, and we are waiting for the Fae. It's magic, my goodness.
Yes. See, for the first ever sponsor of the Goat Theater was none other than the Sealy Court. Well, I fucked that up greatly. All right. The Sealy Court, bitches. How this came to be, no one knows, though there are rumors that the original owner of the Goat Theater gifted his firstborn son to Queen Titania. There's actually a very popular tragic play about it called Hapnet. Very, very modern. But every 8 years, the WRECKS crew are sent out into the Athenian forest and told to walk until they reach a crossroads. Sometimes it takes longer than others. It is said that some WRECK troops in the past have walked for months before they discovered their crossroad. But luckily, you guys made it in only a few hours. And here you are.
We took a wagon and didn't have to bloody walk this whole way.
You hear the baying of wolves again. This time a little closer. What are you guys doing?
I wouldn't mind investigating.
Absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and give me an investigation roll? I mean, it should be all right.
I'm trying to figure out how to roll. Oh. 9.
You just did it. All right. With a 9 investigation, you look to the left, you look to the right. Yeah, this sure is a long road. More importantly, you're pretty sure that the sound of the wolves somehow seems to be coming from both ahead of you and behind you. You're not sure if staying on this path is good anymore. You're not quite sure where these eternal roads lead, but at the very least, with any luck, they'll be devoid of any wolves. What would you tell the others? Should be all right.
Well, Wind, how fast can you drive this thing?
However fast it goes.
Good answer. I'd say steady 15, maybe even 18 miles an hour if you really put the pedal to the metal. Are we turning down onto the Eternal Road, good WRECKS crew?
I really have no
Perhaps what we
choice
ought
in the
to do-
afternoon. I'm here for the ride.
All right. Wind, you turn left or right. It's very important.
We'll go to the
Which way is
left.
the wind blowing?
All right. Yes, absolutely wrong choice, and you'll find out why later. But for now, you head to the left, and it isn't long before the sound of the baying wolves fades off into the distance, as if you're simply walking away from them. You walk for another 4 hours. So hopefully you guys brought your walking sandals. What do you guys do while you're walking? Do you talk about anything? Do you have any questions? Or perhaps you're just practicing something?
I'd like to play my bird pipes.
Oh, yes. Can you give us a performance roll?
Yeah. A 2.
Ah! You take out your bird pipes, bring it to your lips, and they immediately shatter into a spray of wood and rubber bands. How okay, clearly you were gripping it a little too tight. You got to be a little more gentler, right, Guy? You're a musician. You can give him some pointers, couldn't you?
Yes, you have to be very gentle when you put your mouth up to the pipe and just blow.
Blow the pipe.
Luckily, Guy is very, very skilled in blowing.
Don't forget to blow it long and hard.
Now we're a group of bards.
I may need a guy to blow my pipe to show me.
Well, you may have come to the right place.
And as the three of you are going back and forth with homoerotic banter, there is a sound in the woods. Could I get everyone to give me the perception roll?
Oh. 14.
3.
5.
8.
It seems, Yosef, as if all those carrots you've been eating have made your eyesight better than everyone else's. For, Yosef, you are the first to spot the unicorn standing in the forest, watching the 5 of you. What do you do, Yosef? What do you say to the others?
Is there anyone here more pure than I am? No?
I think perhaps everyone here is more pure than you are, Bunny.
Not by much.
I believe I can try and talk to it. If I have the ability, I believe.
But first, you need to make sure you don't spook it off. If you could, give us
Could I try doing an animal handling roll?
You could both try an animal handling roll if you'd like.
Message coming in.
Well,
I mainly just don't want to spook it. I don't want to actually interact with it. I just want to keep a distance.
So, Yosef, it should be all right. You move very slowly towards the creature. And then, Yosef, you step forward and you slip in the mud and you like pinwheel backwards and you go, and then you fall you fall right into the arms of Should Be All Right, who screams as you step on his toe with your huge rabbit feet, and your screams echo through the forest, and the unicorn goes bolting. And Wind, you were pretty sure that was your guide into the Fey realm. So,
Damn my perfect projection.
you were a hair off with that, Yosef.
Oh.
All right. Get used to that.
You're getting very, very punny, little bunny.
I tend to go rabbit with these things.
Whew, sorry, you guys woke up the dad in me. Someone here is going to have to figure out how to get a unicorn to come back.
Can I detect its thoughts?
Ooh.
I'm going to project myself into the forest and try to detect its thoughts.
Oh, concentrate, Madame Fortuna. See if you can connect with the unicorn. The thoughts of a unicorn are almost like music. You hear a very soft sound. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. And your mind is filled with a flood of lights and music, and the voice of the unicorn echoes in your heart. Oh, dear God! I was frightened by that giant donkey thing! Ah, the elegance fills you with untold majesty, but you're pretty sure you can hone in on the creature. Now, if only someone could calm it down, someone pure. Or, purer than should be all right.
I volunteer. I'm half elven after all.
Absolutely.
All right.
And you're a rookie, so if something goes wrong, everyone else can continue on without you. Just remember to watch out, because they have a sharp, pointy horn. It's not for playing rave music. Well, not only for playing rave music.
I just broke my flute, so maybe I can use it for a new flute if he gives me trouble.
You piece your pieces of flute together into a new flute. I like it. So Madame Fortuna guides you a little bit, letting you know where in the forest she feels the unicorn.
I will say, I think that we might calm it down if we lay down a tasty beat. If only there were musicians amongst us.
If only there were musicians.
Lay down a tasty beat.
If only
for the
people.
unicorn.
All right, okay. Maybe something like this.
Could I get Should Be All Right and Guy to give me a performance roll?
Roll an 8.
Holy crap.
Understood. Just 5.
Guy, I believe your tasty beats broke the game a little bit here. Guy's tasty beats add an amazing 25 performance roll. Within a matter of moments, all of y'all are sucked into the majesty of it. You're waving your arms all around, your long rabbit ears, your short cat ears, your scarves. Pretty soon, it's like the whole forest is dancing with you. Birds, rabbits that aren't also people. And then here comes the unicorn. Oh my God. It's so majestic. And it appears to be doing, oh yes, it is doing the Cupid shuffle. Yes, the unicorn is shuffling just like a Cupid.
Someone lay out some cardboard for the sucker.
Unicorns can't do breakdancing anymore. Their horns get stuck in the ground. But suddenly the unicorn freezes and all grows silent as it spots you. It gives a little shake of its head and a high-pitched whinny, as in it invites you to follow it into the forest.
Can I try and speak to it?
Yes, you may. What do you say to the unicorn?
I rolled a 2.
So you can speak to it, but you're really awkward, obviously.
I am a friend. Where you take us?
So, Madame Fortuna, the unicorn looks at you and sort of goes like, and in your head, you hear a voice say, "What's with this dude?"
You say he is new to the company. He's cool. He's cool. Don't worry.
Well, with a flick of its tail and a spray of glitter from its rear end, the unicorn invites you to journey onward and follow it deep into the winter woods. Wind,
Guys, I got this. You can see clearly he's talking to me, so I got this. We're good.
Wind, can you please give me an animal handling roll? You got to get this cart, like, you're going off trail now.
God. 8.
Okay, the cart is stuck. So the unicorn, like, goes, and then after 5 minutes comes back, and it's like... and, like, holds up its hoof and taps it with the horn, like, time is glitter, guys. Time is glitter. So...
Take it.
Try again.
Sucker.
17.
Success! Wind, you encourage everyone to get off their lazy asses, get behind the fucking train, and start pushing. And sure enough, a couple pushes is all it takes to lead yourself further into the wood, following the unicorn. The unicorn leads you through the woods. It is not an easy path, but you can feel something in the wind. It's not as cold as it was only a few minutes ago. Finally, the unicorn goes over the rise of a hill, and you lose sight of it. And when you reach the top of the hill, the unicorn is nowhere to be found, but a single tree whose branches seem large enough to encapsulate the entire world sits before you. On its trunk grows moss, and water runs down from some unknown branch above. To the left, the forest is covered in shadow. Yet to the right, the forest is bathed in twilight, despite the gray clouds overhead. And for those of you who look up into the branches of the tree, you see stars, as if you were looking up into the night sky. Directly ahead of you, underneath the almost warm ground, is an archway in the center of the trunk, lined with writhing roots. Not just alive. It is as if this tree were sentient. Who goes first?
Yeah, I'm already walking through.
Guy has no issue.
I'd like to ask Madame Fortuna if she senses anything.
Yes, I would like to also detect thoughts on this tree.
Yes. Reaching out to the tree, your mind is filled with It is as if 1,000 screams and maniacal laughs fill your brain. It makes absolutely no sense. It's like nothing you've ever experienced before. You all watch as Madame Fortuna kind of reels backwards and stumbles onto the wagon, unable to keep her feet.
So, what'd you hear?
Madness. Madness.
Well, sounds about right for us then.
And it seems like Yosef Rentamalar is also heading through, leaving only the three of you and the wagon.
Oh, off we go. 17.
And though the archway seemed too small for the wagon as you approach it, it's almost as if the wagon fits perfectly at the last second. Should be all right. Madame Fortuna, you are the only three who have not chosen to go through just yet. Oh, only two. I counted wrong.
Before going in, I shall place a protection circle around the tree.
How about around us?
I'm not quite mastered that skill.
Yeah, you're placing circles in midair.
Yeah,
That can be
putting
hard.
salt on the ground around a tree I can do.
Well, without the others, we don't have a troop, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
And the two of you head into the tree And now I'm alone, and I don't want to be alone. So let's get back to the cast of WRECKS. As you guys enter the archway in the trunk of the tree, you exit from the base of a hill, except here, the grass is green. The sun is setting in a beautiful midsummer twilight, and lightning bugs dance all around you. The clearing that you enter is alive with the smell of petrichor. It appears to be raining, yet the drops never touch your skin. The rain dances on the golden treetops above you, and a music, unlike any that you have ever heard before, seems to exist in the very breath of this place. Waiting in the clearing of this midsummer twilight is the Sealy Court, an array of fairies, fae, hobgoblins, and others. You see a beautiful woman whose hair is like the green of the leaves and whose skin is like honey. You see a man clad in fey-wrought armor, sitting upon the knot of a tree with an owl at his side and a stag not too far behind him. You see a warrior woman, half-elf, yet she seems sad. And beside her is a man clad in dark armor. But there's not just humans. Perching on the woman's shoulder is a golden fairy dragon that seems to exhale glitter. And flitting through the twilight sky is a luminescent moth of insane size. There are other things moving in the shadows of the forest, but it's hard to pay attention to them when there's a beautiful woman standing before you, and a satyr, and what appears to be a centaur that is half donkey. There are elves, goblins, half-elves, even sea elves, all around you. Welcome to the Sealy Court and the place where you have come to play your show. May I have a perception roll from everyone?
18.
Oh my god.
13.
4. I'm too busy looking at that enormous moth. I can't help myself.
15.
Yosef, you are the first to sense a feeling of, well, what are you waiting for? As all the fae in this clearing look at your group as they have just walked through the magical archway. Someone's got to go talk to them.
I look back and
I am half elf after all. I don't mind talking to them since they are half elves.
The rookie's got guts. Okay, should be all right. You step forward, and who would you like to talk to? Which of these interesting characters stands out to you the most?
Well, the lady in green does, but for the wrong reasons.
Sometimes when you're a bard, the wrong reasons are perfectly the right reasons.
Then let's do it.
You step forth, and you greet Lady Titania, the Summer Queen, a beautiful Eladrin whose hair, now that you're closer, seems to be filled with autumn leaves. Her pale eyes glitter like the sun, and you could swear you see starlight in her wings. What do you say to her?
I say, I need to write a song about you.
And she gives a coy, should be, can you give me an insight roll?
Yes, I can. 11.
You are not the first, nor will you be the last to promise to write a song about Titania, the Summer Queen. But you do notice that as you talk to her, she doesn't seem to be paying attention to you. She seems to be looking at Yosef. The twitch of his ears seems to make her laugh. And there's just a little glint of life in her smile every time she stares at him. Yosef, what are you doing at this moment?
I'm trying to get the lay of the people around. I step forward as well and try to introduce the company, since no one else seems to be doing their damn job.
And what do you say?
My lords and ladies, we are WRECKS. We are the illustrious bards of your own employ. Please, use us in whatever way you will.
Oh, and there is coy laughter from all across the glen. There is high-pitched giggles. There are low chuckles. And even a couple laughs that kind of sound like blood running across cold stones. But, needless to say, you have made an entrance. The lady
Do I notice that she is staring at me?
Oh, yes. For as she steps forth, she seems to push Should Be All Right out of the way as if he didn't quite matter much. And as she reaches you, she takes her hand and begins to run it up and down one of your ears.
My lady, I happen to have the pleasure of being Yosef and Rathmalah the Seventh at your most esteemed pleasure.
Yes, you do have the pleasure of attending none other than Queen Titania of the Summer. This is my husband, if you could call him that, Oberyn, as well as my attendees from all across the Sealy Court. We thank you for coming. It is difficult for us to go into the city. We do not like parking there. But we are glad that you could come visit us. And we are eager to see what you have prepared for us. But for now, I invite your guests to mingle with my friends, to show off your individual talents as you set up for the show. And of course, please partake of our crafty services table.
I thank you, my lady.
No, I thank you. By the way, what gifts have you brought us? And now Lord Oberyn steps forth. Yes, I am excited to see what gifts you have brought us this time. The bard's servants always bring most delightful gifts.
All will be revealed in due time.
Well, not sure they like that, but they will allow it. And at that, you are all free to mingle with the Sealy Court, partake of the crafty services table, and set up for the show. So what is each of you doing?
Well, I'm making sure that the costumes have all made it and getting everything in order.
All right. What of the rest of you?
I would like to mingle, engage in conversation, and try to find who I believe to be quite the most witless or unintelligent amongst the audience.
Interesting. What about you? Should Be All Right? Yosef? Guy? What are you doing?
I'm going to check out the food first. It's been a
Excellent.
long walk and I'm starving.
I make myself a drink. I brought some provisions with me. And I
You
decide
brought your own booze.
Oh, I sure did. I will share with any of the folk who would partake with me. However, my main reason for coming are of my own. I will be shuffling about and seeing if I can perchance find out if there's anyone who has a touch of the fate reading in them.
And Guy, what are you doing?
I'm a little embarrassed. Earlier, my strings broke with the unicorns, so I must restring my lute.
All right. And at that, we are going to let Wind and Guy attend to the costumes and the music. But as Madame Fortuna wanders around looking for a real ass, as you will later find, Yosef pours himself a drink from his own flask. Do you just always have your own booze, Yosef?
Oh, yes. I am well known for my taste.
Excellent. And should be all right. You approach the crafty services table, which is an amazing banquet table that appears to be growing out of the very ground. Not only that, but the food atop this intense and large banquet table also appears to be growing from the table itself. There are grapes that shine like diamonds, apples that are as green as the leaves on a summer day. There's citrus fruits from all across the world, and some you've never even seen before. And wine pooling in the deep bottoms of buttercup flowers the size of elephant ears. And as you approach, you hear a voice say to you in a sing-songy style, "The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen, man's hand is not able to taste, his tongue to conceive, nor his heart to report the food that grows upon this banquet table." And standing beside you is a gorgeous astral elf, as well as a wood elf. And they sort of give you an eye and invite you to partake of the great banquet.
Okay. Is there anywhere I can roll for perception to see if there's anything up, anything mysterious here, or?
I mean, you are an elf. Why don't you give a history roll to see if you remember anything from your half-elf heritage?
I like that.
Yosef, don't you want to partake of any of this delicious food?
I rolled a 12.
I sure do.
Excellent. So as Yosef reaches to slake his hunger and his thirst, should be all right, you are reminded of stories you were told about the Feywild. It is said that everything that grows in the Feywild belongs to Queen Titania and Lord Oberyn. And those who partake of such things, well, it's as if they are partaking of the king and queen themselves. And everyone knows if you take from a Fey, they will take from you.
I hit on the wrong girl.
Do you eat? Do you eat, Yosef?
Do I know this? Is this knowledge to me?
Doesn't seem like it, unless should be all right wants to let you know.
I'd be happy to inform him. You have to protect my troops, so do I need to roll, or can I just tell him?
You can just tell him.
Don't eat the food. You're going to owe something back to them. But
Son of a bitch.
I would like to ask, let's see if I can get somebody else to take some food. Then I'll share it with them.
Who are you trying to get to take food?
The astral elf, for sure.
Okay. What do you say to them?
I see. Would you like to have a toast with me?
And they look at you. Absolutely. Please, you choose first.
I would choose. I'd make a choice and offer for us to share, but I have to discuss something with Iosa for a moment. So if they could prepare it for me, I'll be back in a moment.
Sure, absolutely. And they're not waiting any longer. They're definitely going to start drinking.
Great. So I'm going to come back in a second, and they can hand me the drink, so I'm not owed. I don't know anybody anything.
Well, and then you find that on the table is a cup. Please reach out and take it.
Oh man.
Yes,
right.
sir. I have a drink here. You can have a little bit of mine if you would like.
Well, it's only polite if I take just one sip.
Can the two of you give me an insight roll?
16.
11.
Yeah, you guys realize that there's a whole group of fae standing around the table, and all of them at this point are like whispering, like, try the grapes. No, have some wine. Oh, these quinces are delicious. But none of them are grabbing any and giving it to you. All of them are just sort of inviting you to take some of your own. And then you also notice that they're a little bit disappointed when you don't do any of those things. But we'll come back to the banquet table.
But I will take a drink from him.
Ah, there you go. Sharing those beverages. Madame Fortuna, you walk around and you try to read everyone. Not in a magical way. In a, are they an idiot way? Can you give me an insight roll?
Yes, absolutely. 21.
Holy jeez. You feel like you've got a good read on everybody. Titania moves about around the crowd, sort of talking to everyone. She's clearly the life of the party. Oberyn is sitting by himself in a corner beside an old stump, almost as if the stump were a chair, waiting for somebody to talk to him. The most dour of the group is the warrior queen and what appears to be her consort, the Dark Man. There are a couple strange characters, not just the giant moth and the fairy dragon, but also another Harengon, whose fur is a yellowish orange, standing in the corner, nibbling on a dandelion stem. And off in the shadows, you see a bugbear, whose patches of brown fur are covered in patches of white that almost look like cobwebs. Every now and then you also see some young characters. You see a young woman. Whenever she's not around, you seem to see a young man. There is another young woman as well, though you lose track of her quite often. But you'd have to say the dumbest of all the folks here appear to be the mechanicals. If Titania is a fairy aristocrat, these people are clearly the fairy citizens. You've got the goblins, a couple common elves, you've got a sea elf, but you'd have to say probably the biggest ass is the donkey centaur. You believe you've heard him say his name was Nicholas. How would you approach?
I would approach and say, greetings, fine steed. I know of some of your relative folk in my world.
Can you give a deception roll, please?
Oh, 27.
Well, he kind of grows a little red in the cheeks and brays a little bit. Aww. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Nicholas. I'm a bottom. Nicholas Bottom. No, my name's Nick Bottom. And who is this lovely lady before me?
I am Madame Fortuna.
Oh, is that like a song or one of those dishes where they fill pasta with that soft cheese?
Not quite. I I am a woman of many talents.
I don't do. I'm not into the donkey shows. Thanks, though.
No. You see, I have certain gifts that
For me?
well, perhaps all shall be revealed during the WRECKS performance.
It will? Oh.
Indeed, good steed.
Oh, I guess I should have brought more clothes.
You shall be appropriately dressed. Do not fear.
Oh, well, that'll be a first for everything, huh?
Yes. Enjoy the intermission. I shall see you soon.
Oh, I didn't even realize it started yet. Oh. And you leave Bottom exactly as you left him, completely clueless. Wind. Costumes are looking pretty good, but I wanted to make sure you didn't want to mingle with any of the guests before the show begins.
Well, I think now that we've got everything ready, I might want to go and have a talk with the king. He's probably the one that we'll actually have to be dealing with business-wise, and I'd like to have a word or two just to be friendly.
Oberyn sits in a corner of the glen upon a root of tree. Beside him is an old stump, inviting, covered in soft moss, as if saying, "Come, sit on me."
Well, I do.
All right. As you approach Lord Oberyn, his owl, and the stag behind him look at you, not with curiosity, but with expectation. What do you say to the king?
Good day, sir. I hope you will find the performance that we give you worthy of your support for our theater.
And as you're talking, you move to the stump and you sit on it to be polite. And the moment you sit on the stump, it seems to pinch you right in the rear, almost wiggling. Suddenly you are thrown to the ground as a tall, goat-headed curiosity stands above you menacingly. And you hear Oberyn say, almost with a level of disdain, "Oh, Robin, can you ever behave just for once?" And the Puck, this sinister-looking hobgoblin, looks down at you and he says, "She sat on me! Bloody cat thinks I'm some sort of cat bed or something. Who you think you are, eh? Just because I'm a Puck, you think you can push me around, eh? Well, I'm not going to take that. Are you going to take that? She's insulting you as much as she's insulting me, Oberyn." Oberyn seems tired of this, but he cannot deny the Puck's words. How are you doing, Wind? This is obviously not something you were expecting.
Well, I never! Honestly!
I'd say you probably do all the time. Obviously, look at you. Sitting on people's probably just something you do. I demand satisfaction. What do you say to the Puck?
Well, I'm not sure what type you're after, but I'm not inclined to provide it.
Get your head out of the gutter. I want a gift. I want a gift. Or else it'll be like you're insulting the entire court. And you wouldn't want to do that, now, would you? I demand tribute. So, and a big smile full of sharp teeth crosses his hobgoblin face. And he asks what you're going to give him as tribute.
I've a cape made of the finest gossamer.
Blah, blah, blah. Every spider can spin a little gossamer out of their ass. I want something
but
of
this
real.
is special gossamer taken from the softest bough of the tallest tree on the mountain in my hometown.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you done describing your boring little hometown yet? I want something of real value. Do you have any children?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Shame, but I'm sure we can find something. And he starts to look you up and down, not looking at your clothes, but almost as if he's looking at your limbs and other parts. Do you say anything as he inspects you?
No, I'm just watching him.
Must be something that you love more than anything else. How old are you? I don't think you've got much youth to give up anymore, do you? Are you a singer?
No, I'm afraid not.
Good eyes or bad eyes?
The fine for cat.
I asked for a kiss, but you'd probably just lick me. Do you need all your fingers to do your work?
Yes, I'm a costumer.
I've come up with it. I don't want any capes. I want... And he stops as if he's listening, and there's a breeze that passes by and runs through the leaves. And he goes, "Yeah, that's what I want. I want your name. Wind, is it? I'll take it. I'll be Wind, and you'll be Puck. And then I'll be the costumer, and you'll have all the luck. Until I stop giving a fuck."
So be it.
Excellent. And he puts his hand out to shake. He's starting to get a little offended. He puts his hand out to shake.
How can you not see me?
Oh, no, I can't. I've got this big-ass puck in front of me. Sorry. And he takes your paw and gives it a little shake and gives it a little kiss on top of the hand. And off you go, Puck. And he starts flitting about the glen. And he introducing himself to people. He runs up to you, Yosef. "Hey, what you drinking? My name is Wind. And I am a tabaxi costumer."
Can I see through this? Does he actually look like Wind? Or
Not in the least. He's clearly just a hobgoblin named Puck. And
well,
he just
Wind, you
goes
seem
right
to
by
have
him.
grown some quite fetching horns, I do say.
Well, don't use my name too much because you might break it. And then he gives out a little toot from his rear end and he continues onward. Guy, I don't want to pass up the chance for you to mingle with any of the Sealy court if you'd like. Is there anyone you wish to speak to? Or
Well, first, actually, I am in the wagon, beating on my instruments to create a distraction, and I want to cast a spell, the Unseen Servant spell, and I would like to summon my friend and manager, Porin Aster Dufay Merlieu, to come join me in the wagon.
all right. As you cast the spell, something strange happens. Nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. You cast the spell a million times, and yet nothing is happening. What do you do?
Oh shit, this was part of the plan. I was going to sneak him in, and then we were going to sprinkle a little dust all over the food, but I guess I had to do it myself. So I'd like to sneak over to the crafty table.
And you know what? I'm not even going to make you roll to sneak, because here's the interesting thing. As you walk, no one pays attention to you. And you're so much more soft-footed than you've ever been in your entire life, which is, weird because you're fucking made of metal. But every step you take makes absolutely no sound. You move over to the table, and you said you're sprinkling dust all over the food, yes?
Yes, it is this special pixie dust that Austere has given me.
Ah, right. And you sprinkle it. Can you give me a quick agility roll?
Okay. Oh, so sorry. That is under strength or dex or athletic.
That would be dexterity. Thank you.
Okay.
And as you're sprinkling this dust, you accidentally knock over a glass. It falls to the ground, and you try to catch it, but you're just not quick enough. And it hits the ground, and it shatters, and it doesn't make a sound at all.
Oh, this is not good. I would like to cast a minor illusion to make it look like the glass is still on the table.
All right. And as you try to cast this minor illusion, it's not working. What the hell? This has never happened. It's not working. What do you do now?
I need to blend into the crowd very quick.
Again, that's no problem. It's almost as if no one is paying attention to you. It's so weird. Anywho, Wind, we got to get this show on the road. You're having a lovely time with the Sealy Court, but you are here for a performance. You are here to make the court happy. And I mean, Yosef, he's drinking, should be all right, is hanging around at the table, and Madame Fortuna is talking with an ass, but you cannot find Guy anywhere. You swore he was just at the wagon, and now you have no clue where he is.
All right, well, we'll just have to go without him. I've got my tambourine, and that'll just be the best we can do if everyone else is busy. So, come on. Rex, it is time to go.
As you are... as you are...
The show.
Question. Oh, the show! Oh, right.
As you are preparing to start, you see that Queen Titania has wandered over, and once again, she's giving you the eye, Yosef. You could swear she was flirting with you, but that's not important.
No, it is very important.
But as she looks at the rest of you, she grows simply serious for a moment. She looks at you, Wind. Puck. She looks at you, Puck. She looks at you, should be all right. She looks at you, Madame Fortuna, and she says, wasn't there another here? It does not matter. Take pains. Be perfect. Do not disappoint. We will settle for nothing less. And with another quick glance at you, Yosef, she turns and she goes back to her crowd. All right, guys. What's the show? Who's going on?
I believe it would be impertinent. Granted, Wind. I've never done this before. You have.
So here's the weird thing. When you look at Wind and you try to say her name, you're like, it like,
excuse me.
It's not coming out.
You there.
Well, as a matter of fact, as you're looking at her, you get the urge to call her Puck.
Well, Puck me. All right. Excuse me there. We're Puck. How does this normally go? Is there an actual performance we need to do, or should we all just kind of give a bit of a flavor of what we can do for them?
Well, I have never done this. I've only been with the company for 4 years, and this happens every 8. So what I've been told is that it's sort of like a play within a play and a cabaret all at once. You just sort of
It's a cabaret play.
choose your character from something we've got in the repertory and just be him.
Or them.
But do your own thing.
All right, sounds good. Everyone got it?
Is
Yes,
it possible?
Very clear.
Is it possible that there could be some ancient play that we all know of that talks of ancient fae and fairy mingling with humans and play the story together?
Try Tyrannus and Disney.
I have a few things in my repertoire that I believe I could possibly use, but that would only be me. What would everyone else? How would we all come together in this?
What are you
I
thinking?
believe
Martin?
strongly that we need a master of the evening to tee up each individual performance.
Yes.
Now,
You
being
need a
that
master.
you are the one who is blessed with voice and verse, Joseph, I feel that you should be the one to introduce us, perform, perhaps provide a bit of banter between acts.
I believe I could do that for the crew.
What do you think, Guy?
I can try.
It's so weird, Guy, because as you talk, standing around your fellow crew, none of them hear you. None of them see you. It's strange. What are you thinking, Guy?
Oh, I am thinking that it is just these silly fucks playing a prank. It is quite like them to do this sort of thing.
What are you thinking of doing in return?
I will just wander around the crowd, and I think that I will spread more of my dust.
It's already starting to look like your dust is taking effect. The moth that was flying around has left the glen and appears to be attempting to fly all the way to the moon.
I encourage it. Catch the moon.
It does not hear you. But I believe Madame Fortuna was correct. And that we need to get a little bit of performances going. Also, wind is just a strange thing. You've got like an itch. The spot where where wind kissed you. You've got like it's like itchy now on your hand. And looks okay. Maybe a little bit of matted fur. Kind of tastes like copper. Like if you put like a penny in your mouth. That's all right. I'm sure it'll be okay. Probably nothing weird. But Joseph, the stage is yours, and all eyes are on you.
My lords and ladies, welcome to WRECKS. Here, we will titillate you. We will excite you. We will bring forth so much pleasure. You will be begging for more. Come forth and enjoy.
Ooh, that went over quite well, as there are some polite applause and some bawdy yells. now that you've introduced, who will be the first performer?
First of the night will be myself, Joseph Aranthmalar VII, at your illustrious service. I will perform for you a little ditty I think you may enjoy.
Go ahead.
It is known as A Night Remembered. Came from the tavern, I stumble and roam, a night in my cups now, off for home. My wife will be waiting, expectant she'll be, her buxom form bedecked, risque for me. She loves my glove hand, claims my tongue as her own. She'll implore me to her, lips parted with a moan. She'll beckon I face her, not the usual she'll find, for this deep in my cups I'll take her from behind. When I arrive, I kick in the door. She's waiting, expectant, though they're on the floor. I pay that no heed, blood now running hot, skipping the pleasantries, right to the foxtrot. Grab her and take her, her ecstasy clear, the day's straw in her hair. My wild-hearted dear. She bucks and I ride, near knocks me clear. I hold deeper still, what the neighbors must hear. We climax together, all back in a tangle. My wife finally sated, so too is my jangle. I wake the next day in the barn, all cozy, cuddled on the floor with the donkey Rosie. Are you surprised? So too was I, quite shocked and amazed. For to my wife, I'll have to lie. I've said she was the best. Now, another apple in my eye. I shrugged and took Rosie again, my ecstasy piercing the sky.
Bravo! There are applause from Titania. The donkey is braying with laughter. But there is a strange series of events that have occurred for Madame Fortuna as you attempted to cast Silent Image to create a series of vapors that would illustrate his words. You felt an itch on your chin, and when you reached up, you realized you'd grown a beard of feathers. Oh, dear
But
Lord.
did my vapors work?
Unfortunately, they did not. Madame Fortuna, could you give me an Arcana roll, please?
21.
Madame Fortuna, you are very well versed in the arcane arts, and you realize while you're in the Feywild, none of your magics are working correctly. All the spells that you're trying to cast are being redirected. It's like a surge of wild magic. It looks like, however you hope to entertain the Sealy Court, you're going to have to do it like real performers. And at that, I'll give you a couple seconds to pluck your feathery beard. Guy, you are walking through the crowd unseen, and people are digging the stuff you sprinkled all over the food, which, you know, out of game, not cool, but in game, we'll allow it. What are you doing as no one seems to be able to notice you?
I wish to go and catch Lady Titania's ear, and I will whisper into her ear that one day the Unseelie Proteliat will make heads roll, and you will submit to Porenaster defamel you if you know what is good for you. And then I...
And as you are saying these things, whispering in her ear, you watch her smile become a frown. And then suddenly, the spell wears off, and you guys totally see Guy is standing right next to Titania, and he's blown some sort of like glitter dust on her face. And she goes, "Ah, what the?" And she looks right at you, Guy, and she's like, "Did you just spit on me? Did he just spit on me?" What do the rest of you do?
Oh, you don't know how to party?
Oh, I believe he is malfunctioning. We must get him backstage. He springs oil once in a while.
Yosef, she loves you. Go intervene.
Yes, I'm going to go up and I guess this might be a performance role. But
yeah, go ahead. Give me a performance roll. At advantage. I'll allow it to be at advantage.
All right, let's see here. Roll. Oh, that wasn't that great. I still got a 15.
Ah, it's better than nothing. So you go over, and what do you say to the queen, who is quite upset?
Say, my dear, we are still running the kinks out of our musical department. Speaking of kinks, I do believe that we might be able to find some time together. But first, I must implore that we take our music man and try to see what the error might be.
And as she looks at you, her features seem to soften, and her eyes glance around a little bit, but they eventually come back to you.
I implore you, my lady.
And as you say implore,
He's but a simpleton.
She stares into your big bunny eyes, and you hear her whisper, "Cupid is a knavish lad, thus to make poor females mad." And she strokes your ears again, and she said, "I've always had a thing for buck teeth."
Well, my lady, I do have 2 of them.
Can I get everyone who isn't Yosef to give me an insight roll?
14.
18.
7.
Madame Fortuna, you are the only one to notice that as Queen Titania flirts with Yosef, Oberyn stands in a corner with, I would say Puck, but Wind. And as they stand there, Oberyn is glowering. He does not seem to like that his dear queen has taken a fancy to this funny bunny over here. You have muted yourself, should be all right.
Yes, the show must go on.
Do you say, my dear?
Yosef.
These teeth aren't the only things that protrude, but back to the show, shall we? We might entrance.
And might I ask who will be next on the docket?
Well, let us see. We will go with Should Be All Right. Should Be All Right is our next up-and-coming actor here at WRECKS.
Okay.
Perhaps he can indulge.
I can play a little music.
Absolutely. What instrument would you like to play? Should be all right.
If you need one, I have a flute, a lute, and a tan-tan. Also a viol.
Well, don't forget that the WRECKS wagon...
They're back in the wagon.
Yeah, the WRECKS wagon has every instrument you could possibly want. As a matter of fact, if we're getting to the musical portion, shouldn't Guy come out and perform with you?
I would love that.
Yes,
Keep him in the back,
I'll try again. Go on, freestyle.
I think this music needs some lyrics.
Shit.
Oh. Yee, your music appears to be dying on the vine. The people were getting into it, hoping for some sweet, sick rhymes to go with those sweet, sick beats. But it appears to be falling short. Quickly should be all right. You need to find a way to save the act.
Should I throw in some poetry?
Yes!
Yes. Okay.
He's racking his brain for poetry.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just a shitty DM for putting people on the spot like this. But damned if it isn't just a little bit of music.
Yeah. All right. Under the elven moon I lay, her blue eyes the ice of ire. Tonight she is vulnerable, her mother's side sweet, wise. The old language of the stars I whisper elven to her. Red full lips, pale smooth skin, silk stockings with belts. Oh, pallid moonlight, speak! Turtle doves and grapevines, bluebells like the grace of rain. The earth conjugates wet elven rose petals, turquoise clouds, yellow ribbons, Scottish moons and mountains sing. Norwegian queen in royal purple, she rings her golden bell. Utopia in veins of brilliant centuries. Sir Thomas More looks at me, her ghost ancestry. Vivaldi in my whispers, my elven words are warm. Apple cider and pineapple, my lips meet her joyous sea. Elves dance like serrated tides, elven moonlight on a bed of Venus.
Wonderful clapping, and they weren't quite sure where it was going, but you know, elves, the Fae are always pleased when things turn to inappropriate and sex. But Madame Fortuna, I believe you are the last performer to go on, but you know that you also have a costume from, not Wind, Puck. Puck wanted to give you a costume, so you need to find her. Can you give me a perception roll?
Okay.
Wind, could you also give me a perception roll?
Yes.
I got 9.
$21.
All right. Wind, your hand has stopped itching, but now you've got like an itch right behind your ears. It's really bugging you, and your feet are killing you. But Madame Fortuna, you find Wind over by King Oberyn, just sort of chatting with him.
I'll say, you wanted to give me a costume? I'm up now. Where's this costume?
And the Tabaxi looks at you and says, "What? I ain't no bleeding customer. I'm Wind. I guess I am a customer. I am a Tabaxi customer. Yes, I've got a right lovely costume for you." And he walks over to a tree and he rips some moss down from the tree, and he suddenly fashions it into like this really ragged looking dress. And he's like, "Put that on. Mind the worms."
Wind, I'm not sure what's gotten into you, but I do not have time to ask questions. The stage beckons.
Right, yep, stage beckons. No time to give a puck. Oh, he's having a good time. Wind, unfortunately, you've noticed, as you're scratching your head, your ears appear to be gone and have been replaced by horns. Your fur is thin, barely existent, and it's not just your name he appears to have taken. This hobgoblin appears to have taken your entire likeness.
And I his.
Well, he did say.
Yes. Oh dear.
How do you handle this situation?
Well, what am I wearing?
You're wearing the same clothes you were, except now they're awkwardly draped over the shoulders of this bloody hobgoblin. So it's not quite as good.
Well, what is he wearing?
So he is wearing nothing. He was wearing nothing before, and he's wearing nothing now. Although now he appears to just be grabbing random things and making scarves out of them. He takes a swath of sunlight and wraps it around his neck like an ascot.
Well, then, I suppose if he is me and I am he, that I'm going to go ahead and take my clothes off and put them safely into the wagon, and I will go and stand on the stage and helicopter my little puck dick.
Madame Fortuna, as you are about to go out and perform, you see Puck or Wind, whichever one it is, walk on stage and begin helicopter dicking. Wind, can I have a performance roll, please?
Some music, Gee!
Gee, could you provide some dick twirling music, please?
I rolled a 9.
Unfortunately, this is a new talent that you are trying out, and it's not helicoptering so much as ski-sawing, and it's slapping your belly.
That's all right. I'll work with it.
The crowd is not. Oh my God! Somebody get her up! Somebody get him off the stage! Wind is laughing hilariously.
I will intercede. Thank you, Puck, for that lovely interlude.
And as they are rushed off the stage, the crowd is just howling with laughter. It was a terrible performance, but it appears to have done some sort of trick. However, Madame Fortuna, you are the last to perform wearing a ragged dress made of moss. It's a little bit wormy, but, could be worse. And what will you be performing for the Sealy Court this evening?
Now, for my performance of great feats of amazement and wonder, I shall need a volunteer from the audience. And you there, Nicholas, please come up.
And the donkey looks shocked. Ooh, me? Okay. Can you give me a quick insight roll?
Nope, 4.
You are entirely focused on this ass of a centaur. He claps onto the stage, and the rest of his friends, all the mechanicals, are just drunken, woo! Bottom! Get her! Do her like you did the queen! And then Queen Titania and Oberyn give them a huge glare, and then they're all just no, never mind. I didn't say that. But he has come upon the stage, and he awaits your instructions.
I will say, good sir, Nicholas.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to be a knight.
What would you say if I told you I can introduce you to the most beautiful, the most amazing lover of your entire life?
Well, I'd say I already met her. And at that, there's actually light applause, and Queen Titania actually bows.
Ah, yes. But what if there is one from a distant land with whom you have not met nor laid?
Oh, well, I mean, that's pretty exciting. I mean, I can't lay down because I'm a centaur, but I can do a lot of standing stuff. So that if that's cool with her, it's cool with me.
Ah, yes. Now just close your eyes and let me tell you a tale of this woman. And when you open your eyes,
Well, I've got a tail already.
when you open your eyes, you will see her. I shall make her appear and bring her to you.
And okay, so he covers his eyes like a kid who's playing peekaboo, and he waits.
All right, so I feel like I don't know if this is like a deception roll or a performance roll.
What are you trying to do?
I want to convince him that someone or something is like the most beautiful love of his life.
Oh, okay. This is a performance roll.
Okay, yes.
Do you know what you want to convince him is the most beautiful thing?
That was an 11. One of the asses that was pulling our cart.
Okay. All right. So you bring a donkey onto the stage.
Yes.
And what do you do with said donkey?
The entire time I am telling this tale of, you remember our first act. This is called a callback in the biz. Yes, you remember our first act when the man awoke with the most wonderful love of his life, and 'twas not his wife, 'twas another, more skilled, more apt, more capable. Now this fair creature that you shall see is even more apt, even more skilled, even more fair. And I'm doing like little asides to the crowd, like, oh, you should see the ass on this one, trying to play to the audience a little bit there. And eventually, with a great flourish, I will tell him to open his eyes and see his beloved.
And he opens his eyes and he sees the donkey, and he almost seems to frown a little bit. And the crowd is dead, silent, not a snicker, not a sound. And then suddenly, from back in the forest, you hear the bugbear shout, "Boo! Just because he's a centaur doesn't mean he likes donkeys! You're racist!" And then the rest of the Sealy court are like, "The fortune teller's racist!" Oh, guys, she is bombing. She is absolutely bombing. This is not the crowd for that joke. Like, someone's got to go in and try to help her. Someone's got to try to save this.
Push Win back on stage.
I think we need more helicopter dick.
I don't think the helicopter dick is working, guys. I do not think it's working. You're gonna need a real showstopper. You're gonna need something to bring the Sealy house down, so to speak. That was an unfortunate misstep. The performance just didn't work. No one.
I will take the stage.
All right. I see. There are some of us. All right, Bunny Man.
Seems when all else fails, we need a professional. My lords and ladies, I give you an excerpt from a play of my own design.
Divine and design, both are fine.
It is a divine design.
Yes, and it's designed by the divine.
It is but known as the tragedy of Drizzt, the noble-hearted, When did the hope and happiness of my people fade? Wherefore, too, did joy leave, never more to be spirited, where the head be the source why we grieve. The words he speaks and the actions he takes bear no resemblance to our supposed grace. His countenance is dour, his acts the utmost cruel. To be of us, one is to be a fool. To find oneself at a fork, the paths ahead so explicit, when one path leads toward gloom, one must choose the path of doom. I know not what lies ahead. 'Tis possible not lies but dread. For our spirit I must atone. I cannot go this path alone. Allies I must seek out, but wherever to find such clout. The dwarves care not, the gnomes not a fig. The other elves, they care only for a sprig. For the humans, no compliments do they say. Is it possible salvation lie with the Fae? The sense of a poet that doth make the embers and coals of our passion, they will help us to rake. To combat the grim, unsmiling displeasure, one needs the spirit of a trickster to unlock our treasure. The Fae are where my path leads. 'Tis they who I must seek. The Fae are the answer. 'Tis they who shall make us once again Dominique.
Yeah, just raucous applause. And at the end of that, as people give a standing ovation, Wind or Puck or whoever it is steps forward and announces at the top of their lungs, "Let us dance!" The performance part of the evening is over. And now the Sealy Court always likes to end everything with a dance. So which of you will be providing the music? And the rest of you will, of course, be providing the company.
I think you already know my answer.
Excellent.
Swinging my dick, y'all.
Guy, I love your music, but I wish to focus on the players in this final bit of the performance. You have come, you have mingled with the Sealy Court, you have performed your show to great applause and a couple duds, but hey, that's how every show goes. And now the four of you who are not performing, you have a chance to not mingle, but dance with the members of the Sealy Court. And I'd like to know, who would each of you like to dance with?
I would like to dance with the warrior princess, the elven warrior.
Excellent. And what of the rest of you?
I want to start making my way towards the queen.
Excellent.
If anyone gets in my way, I will dance with them for a minute, but then continue in my path toward the queen.
Exactly a minute. And what of you, Madam Fortuna?
I am going to hang against the wall and see if anyone comes to me, otherwise keeping a low profile.
And Wind, our Puck, is there anyone you'd like to dance with?
Oh, I'm just making my way around the party, swinging my fucking dick as I go.
I feel like you found a new favorite toy.
Yeah,
really...
I mean, if that's the game he wants to play, I'm gonna play it.
Please, for all that is holy, spin it so fast that you begin to levitate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I will try. Break the queen off a piece so we get our money.
Oh my gosh. All right. We are going to start then with should be all right. You are approaching the warrioress, you say, yes?
Yes.
All right. As you approach, you notice that though she is a very tall woman, adorned in armor and covered in weapons, you also notice that she is half elf. What do you say as you approach? As she's just sort of standing there with a dour, depressed look on her face, next to what could be her partner, a sort of dark man in strange armor.
I offer her a sip of the glass that I have from Yosef, and I ask her what ails her.
So she looks at the glass, and then she looks at the man beside her, and he gives a shake of his head no, and then she simply shakes her head as well.
Can I roll perception?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. I lost my perception in my roll. Okay, there it is.
What'd you get?
7.
There's definitely something sad about her, and you can tell that it clearly has something to do with this man, though you do not know who they are. Unfortunately, she does not take your drink, and though she thanks you for your attention, she has nothing of interest to say at this moment, and simply continues to stand there. What do you do?
Can I ask what she's holding in her hand?
Absolutely. And she looks at you, and she looks back at the dark man, and this time he gives a sort of like, if you must, nod, and then she explains that it is a staff from her homeland, a place she has not visited in quite some time.
While we're traveling troop, I invite her to come with us. Maybe we can visit her homeland once again.
And again, she looks to the dark man, and he seems to sneer, and she says, "Alas, it has been many a year since she has visited the island of the Amazons, and she does not feel she will ever find a chance to return there again."
Okay, I say my name is Should Be, and I ask her who this gentleman is next to her.
Well, she introduces herself as Hippolyta, and she introduces the dark man as Theseus. And he barely seems to pay you any mind, almost as if you were not more than a fly. I will give you a moment to think on this, because you've come upon something that may be of great importance. But first, Yosef, as you approach the queen, she seems not surprised, but delighted, and does not even wait for you to ask her to dance. She simply steps forward and asks if you will join her on the dance floor.
It would be my pleasure, lady.
Can you give me an insight roll, Yosef?
Absolutely. That is a 7.
Yes. Not the greatest of rolls, but better than the one that I just made. As you dance with the queen, she laughs, and her laughter is like the twinkle of a brook over stones on a summer day. But every now and then you notice, as much as she's been looking at you, she's also paying a lot of attention to Should Be as he speaks with Hippolyta. She seems bothered by it. Maybe not bothered by him talking to her, but bothered by something with Hippolyta.
My lady, is something on your mind?
And she looks at you, and her smile returns, and she says, I perhaps have a funny bunny in mind. But yet again, as she says this, her face sort of drops a little bit, and she looks at Hippolyta again, as if there's something actually bothering her, and she's trying to dismiss it by flirting with you.
I suppose I can't make any insight check to see if I can... There's really not much I would really be able to see from this other than what you've already explained. Is that correct?
Correct. But perhaps you could persuade her to tell you more.
Oh, I will. I would absolutely roll. Much better. 22.
Ah, yes. So you dance, and she flirts a little bit, but she seems distracted. And you come away with a couple of things here. First, you realize that all the flirtatious affectation she was giving you, while not entirely false, was also not entirely true. It's more like a game her and Oberon play. She finds the hairiest, most big-eared, big-footed folk in the forest and gives a couple nice smiles and throws a bone here and there, and he acts perturbed and gets all jealous, and they play their games on and on and on. But more importantly, as you talk, you realize there is an actual sadness about her. Something that she is trying desperately to ignore, and it has something to do with Hippolyta, the former queen of the Amazons. And as you dance, you get her to open up because, well, she likes you. There's something about you. You just make people want to give you a big squishy bunny hug.
I do have that effect. Has worked numerous times.
She tells you, unfortunately, that Hippolyta is not just her guest in the Sealy court, but is actually her half-sister of the same father. Hippolyta was once the half-elf queen of the Amazons, but Theseus, and she points to the dark-armored fellow over there, who was at the time the Duke of Athens, fell madly in love with her. Unfortunately, it was less love and more a lust for power over the powerful. He devoted himself to winning Hippolyta, and to do so, he pledged himself to an archfey, the queen of air and darkness, and she gave him the power to trick Hippolyta into eating a pomegranate that made her thirst only for Theseus. He took her away to the Shadowfell, where her Amazon sisters could not retrieve her. And there, Hippolyta's fierce temperament and glowing beauty gave way to dourness and depression. Theseus still brings her back to the court, but the thief of love, he calls her. Well, she calls him. He does it only to gloat, for he has complete control over her. See, he gives her no food nor drink, so that she will only hunger for his touch, only thirst for his company, and she can never be freed of his influence unless he were to give her a drink or food. And as she says this, she actually starts to cry a little bit for her cursed half-sister.
Knave of the highest order.
I shall...
You say that by giving her food or drink, it would absolve her of this need for him.
It would break his power, but of course he would never do such a thing, not willingly. And at that, I believe I'll leave you to think, for I think that Madame Fortuna has a guest. Madame Fortuna, you are approached by a satyr. He comes over, puts down his flute, leans against the wall next to you, and says, honestly, it wasn't the joke, it was the delivery. You know, you got to read the room, and sometimes it's like you read it incorrectly. I'm Philostrate, by the way, but my friends call me Phil, and you are?
I'm Madame Fortuna.
Is that your real name?
It's the only name I go by.
Fair. I get the feeling that jokes aren't really your thing anyway. I'm guessing by the garb you like to peer into people's futures and things of that nature?
Indeed, 'twas a miscalculation on my part, but once I found that, well, the slight skills that I do have do not work here in the wilds of the Bay Country, I had to resort to what I hoped would be a deception that would be well received, but indeed, it was a miscalculation.
Yeah, the Sealy don't like people showing them up, so any magic that gets done just goes a little kerflooey. It's sort of like a little amusement.
Amusing indeed.
But yeah, you know, you kept a level head, and look, stand-ups, they fail all the time. First couple 100 years that I was doing it, I didn't get a single laugh. I just want to say, don't be so down. Buck up.
I like you. And I'll give him a little boop.
Oh, and he asked you to dance. Would you dance with him?
Yes, I will dance with him.
Will you give me a performance roll?
That's better. 20.
Oh, well done. Yeah. So as you dance, the moss gown that you are wearing seems to start to grow flowers. And soon as you twirl, flowers are floating in the air. And the two of you actually bring more people onto the dance floor. But I need to go back because I feel like we have some folks here who might have a bit of unfinished business as we come to a close here. The dance probably isn't going to last much longer, but I think the two of you might have a bit of information you'd want to share with each other.
Well,
something is going on with these two.
there absolutely is. It seems as if that fellow over there in the dark armor has a bit of a hold on the woman you are speaking with. Yes, that lad over there. He has bewitched her, in a sense, ensnared her. She cannot get out without him giving her some kind of food or drink.
A moment. Can I go over to Theseus?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Yosef, do you accompany him or do you let him go to Theseus alone?
I'll accompany, but I'll stay a step or two behind.
You'll stay a hair back, right?
Yes, exactly.
What do you say? Should be all right.
I want to thank Theseus for having us here, and I hope he enjoyed the show. I offer him a glass of wine and ask if he would like to share it with the woman next to him. What's her name?
Hippolyta.
Hippolyta. And can I roll for persuasion to maybe use my magic to get him to...
You can definitely roll for persuasion, but I'm curious what you would say to make him do such a thing. As you go up and thank him, he almost interrupts you to say that it was not his doing that you're here. If it were up to him, he wouldn't even be here himself. And his voice is odd. His voice sounds like what you'd think a shadow would sound like. But he seems to want nothing to do with you. And as you hand over the glass of wine, he seems almost not to want to touch it. But what did you roll for persuasion?
9.
Unfortunately, it does not seem like it will be that easy for him unless perhaps you have an angle you think you might be clever enough to play.
I think I'd like to ask Madame Fortuna, see if she has any insight as to who he is, where he comes from, because there's clearly a dark aura about him, and it doesn't fit in with any of the other Fae in the party.
Madame Fortuna, what do you think?
Would that be like Arcana or Religion?
Yes.
Or
You can give me an Arcana.
anyways. 17.
Excellent. So Yosef can tell you that Titania said Theseus hails from the Shadowfell. And whereas the Feywild is sort of a happy reflection of the material plane, the Shadowfell is a dark reflection of the material plane. It's where the darkest of all human nature and inhuman nature goes. If he hails from there, well, he's a dick. And if he took someone there, he's even more of a dick. He disdains not only the Fae, but especially disdains humans. He thinks of them as nothing more than insects.
Is there any spell we know of that we can counter what he's done to her?
Well, unfortunately, Madame Fortuna would let you know that no spells of any nature will work in the Feywild. If you were going to get him to do anything, you'd have to do it the old-fashioned way, with guile and wit, or perhaps a bit of trickery.
Perhaps we can put on a performance for him.
I'm curious to see what you have in mind, Yosef.
My dear Wind, we do have a plethora of costumes, do we not?
It's Puck.
Yeah, it's Puck.
My dear Pucky friend, Pucky Puck. We do have many plethora of costumes, do we not?
We do. What did you have in mind? We've got anything you could possibly imagine.
Do we have any duplicates?
Oh, of course. Of course we have duplicates. We have duplicates, and we have several. Let me see here. We have several cloak of many fashions. They'll be whatever you want.
I
Will
think
it bewitch the wearer to even look themselves
Well,
as a different person?
no, it's just a cloak.
Damn it.
I don't know.
Well,
I feel like Yosef might have an idea, so much so that I feel like I'm gonna let Yosef lead this from here on out. Go ahead, Yosef. What were you thinking?
The idea I had in mind was that we could possibly have two of these cloaks, put one on Lady Titania.
Ah, you know what, Yosef? I think I know exactly what you have in mind. So much so that what I'd like you to do is not describe your plan, but simply roll performance. And I'd like whoever is going to help Yosef with this plan to also roll performance to help him pull it off.
I would like to help him since I began this strange little side quest.
21.
Ooh.
I got a 20.
Oh.
Not natural, but 20.
I got a 20.
11.
Holy shit!
I have really high performance. That's why I'm so mad I bombed
Same.
on stage.
Every time I do something, I'm saying to myself, can I please make it a performance check?
So you guys start scurrying about and should be all right. You're new to this, but everyone sort of leads you along. Wind is like, come this way. And Yosef, you're like, come this way. And you go to the cart and you're throwing stuff around. And all the dancers are suddenly like, what are they doing? And then Yosef, you come back out. And of course, you're going to need to let them know that there's one final performance.
My dear people, we have saved, indeed, the best for last. We will bring you forth one final performance before we are to depart. Now for a feast of the senses.
And it will be quite the performance. You even let them know that you're going to need some volunteers from the crowd. But you don't ask for volunteers. You simply run up and you grab Titania, who is so easy to pull onto stage. She simply wants to go, and then should be all right. You're not quite sure, but then Madame Fortuna pushes you and you realize she's pushing you towards Hippolyta, and Don't ask, just bring her onto the stage. And Puck, well, it's really hard for people to ignore big swinging dick. No one wants to touch that. So Theseus very quickly walks away onto the stage, away from your big swinging codpiece. And as the three of them come on stage, the show begins, and you toss a cloak over to Tanya, and you pronounce her the most beautiful maiden in all the land, and yada, yada, yada. And then you throw another cloak on Theseus, and he looks just so unhappy. Like, what is this crap? But you proclaim him the most beautiful man in all the world, and how the two of them met and they were to be married. And meanwhile, can I get somebody who isn't Yosef to give me a stealth roll? Or, no, let's do sleight of hand. I need someone to give me a sleight of hand roll. Let's see how sneaky people can be.
Oh, 25 on sleight of hand.
Oh, it looks like the Puck is quite a knave.
11.
And things are moving fast now, and the crowd is watching, and they're trying to follow. As Yosef, you're telling the story about this beautiful woman and this beautiful man. There's so much going on, but people are so enwrapped. The performance is so well done, and you quickly hand something to Theseus, and it's a book, and he doesn't know what he's doing, but you're monologuing, and you're going on and on about how this man was full of wisdom and wile and git. And things are moving around the stage, and Guy is playing music, and Madame Fortuna is running about here and there. And then Titania is dancing and twirling and screaming in the sun. Her cloth flies in the air. And then the Theseus is like, what are you doing? I'm tired of this shit. I don't want to be part of this performance. And he takes the book, and he sort of shoves it into Titania's hand. And as he does so, Titania stops spinning, and her cloth settles, and he realizes it's not Titania, it's Hippolyta. Somehow you put the exact same dress on her, and he didn't even realize that you switched them. And he's just chuffed. He does not like any of this at all. And Madame Fortuna, your silk dance definitely helped. And he's like, you know what? We are tired of this, and we are going to return to the Shadowfell. And he goes to grab Hippolyta's hand when she actually steps back from him, and she simply says, no. And she opens the book to reveal just the tiniest little lettuce leaf that one of you slipped in there without Theseus even knowing. And Theseus's jaw drops, and the Sealy court erupts into applause. And as Theseus stands there looking just like the biggest dolt in all of the freaking Sealy court, everyone starts to shout, "Let us dance!" And the revelry starts up yet again, and around everyone goes. And Yosef, you dance with Titania, and should be all right with Hippolyta, and Guy, you play your music, and Madame Fortuna, you dance with your silks. But I believe in this final moment, the real focus is on Wind, or Puck, for as you dance, your cod swinging, you are approached by a beautiful Tabaxi woman. And as she approaches, you recognize and the Tabaxi simply says, "So quick, bright things come to confusion. And look, if we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme no more yielding but a dream. So, gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend, and as I am an honest Wind, or as you're an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else the Puck a liar call. So, good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends." What do you do? Give him. I see you put your hand out. And as you put your hand out, the Tabaxi takes your hands And the two of you begin to dance, twirling across the stage. And there are silks and flowers and moonlight. And it's absolutely gorgeous and wonderful and beautiful. And as you twirl, you come back to yourself and you realize your hands are covered in soft fur. And you realize you're wearing a beautiful cloak that you made, and you've got nice pointy ears. And the puck stands before you in all his hobgoblin-y glory, and he says, "You know what? That was a fucking blast." And as he claps his hands, the five of you wake up in a field just outside of Drunden. You will later come to find that somehow 4 days had passed. The bard lets you know that it was a wonderful performance, and the Sealy Court has decided to renew their sponsorship of the Goat Theater. And they even paid a hefty bag of, except when he opens the satchel, instead of gold, out comes dandelions. And he says, well, it's better than nothing. And the five of you have managed to impress the Sealy Court and free Hippolyta from Theseus's grasp and save the Goat Theater. Well done.